power at 182 pounds. All of his losses, all 4 of his losses are to Josh Hokit. As that wrestler, as Anthony Montalvo, how do you prepare for this moment? How do you remain confident knowing that you're unbeaten against everybody else except your current adversary?
He's had an outstanding year of wrestling except for wrestling Josh. So, you know, it has to weigh on his mind. It has to weigh on any wrestler's mind when he's unable to defeat his opponent after he's wrestled him 4 times. Now, we talked earlier as we were preparing about Josh Hokit and how he's developed over the time to get to this point where he is the #1 guy in the state. He's a CS, the Central Section champion. He is, you know, the guy. So, you know, we're going to see what happens here, but we've got to believe that Josh has the upper hand, as it were.
Josh is 45-2. Both of his losses came out of state, though. Of course, he's coached by Adam and Steve Terapelli. The Clovis wrestlers have a common thread: the bleach blonde hair. That's when you know you have a Clovis wrestler. They were predominantly in the yellow singlets earlier. Hokit is in blue tonight. His older brother, Isaiah, wrestles at Drexel, and we're underway. We'll start at 182 pounds, go all the way through, and conclude at 170. Montalvo against Hokit, Buchanan against Clovis.
Josh has come out, and what he's doing is pounding Montalvo's head, trying to get him to make him false step so he can shoot underneath his guard. And Montalvo is answering.
He's
answering. Yeah, he's coming out, but he's chasing Josh. He's putting a lot of energy out. You know, Josh is confident. He's just, you know, taking his time. Pound, there he goes, on the head again. He's on the heavy on the head. You know, he shoots in for the single leg. Beautiful shot. No stopping it. That was a freight train.
Pair of points for Hokit there, and less than a minute in, Hokit strikes first.
His record is 45 wins, 2 losses. His 2 losses were in out-of-state tournaments, so he is undefeated against all competition here in California.
So the restart here. And Montalvo really did come out more than aggressive than we might have thought, but Hokit, you can only hold him at bay for so long.
So the score should be 2-1, right?
It is 2-1.
And this is Montalvo's only real opportunity, on his feet, hoping that Josh makes a mistake. And we're not looking for that mistake right now. So moving him, pounding his head, and this is effective. And this is, again, Clovis style of wrestling. They're being very aggressive. You won't see a Clovis wrestler stall to a championship. That won't happen. You know, just battling in the middle of the mat. Again, he's shooting it. There's a front headlock from Montalvo, who could not hold it.
Steps out, and with 26 seconds left after the pause in the action, it remains 2-1 as we wind down this opening period.
He's being aggressive. He's being aggressive. He just got forced him out of bounds, and the referee gave Montalvo a stalling warning that the second time he does that, he'll get a point. So this is something that they do. That's the inside trip. He did not score. He went out of bounds. With 4 seconds left, 0. Now, I'm looking at 2 clocks. So there's the one I need to look at.
And
All
that
right.
will conclude the first period, 2-1. Hokit in control. Break that down a bit for me as we move to the second.
I don't. Montalvo doesn't have the skills to wrestle with Hokit.
So what do you do in this situation then?
He got to the finals. He has to go through with it. I mean, that's just the way it is. They're back on their feet in the second period. Hokit's in on his leg again. Montalvo's trying to get out of bounds to not give up the takedown, but he's just too skilled, too strong, too confident. And we saw that confidence in the semifinals, didn't we?
No question. 4-2 at this stage for Hokit. He's a 2-time state finalist, just looking to get over the hump. The heartbreak of losing a year ago, and he feels this is his moment with the score at 4-3. Montalvo's hanging in there.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. But he's got to create some offense, and we're not seeing that from him. He's got to be able to attack Hokit. He's always going to be behind Hokit. And this is just the second period. In the third period, Hokit's going to have the choice of being down. He's going to get another point for that. So Montalvo's job is to get in and and shoot on him. And Josh is just keep pushing. Got a front headlock from Montalvo right here. He's holding on. He's not going to get him out of bounds. So good strategy from Hokit.
And we restart with 1 minute to go in this second period. 4-3 in favor of Hokit. As we mentioned, Montalvo 36-0 against everyone that isn't Josh Hokit. He has 4 losses.
Well, a nice thing about Montalvo is he's a student also. He's on the honor roll. He's got a 3.6 GPA. I mean, this is a really quality kid and part of a great Buchanan program for this year.
In our prep, that was one of the things that really, it amazed me at least, the GPAs of some of these young athletes. It's really remarkable, and we'll point that out throughout the event tonight here on Time Warner Cable Sports and TWCcommunity.com. Hokit with a vicious hold of his right leg, pulling him back into bounds. 2 more for Josh Hokit, a commanding 6'3" advantage.
And once again, that's a Clovis trademark, shooting to that opposite leg and getting the single. I mean, it's something they all do, all the way up to their heavyweights, all the way up to Nick Neville's the great champion. So they all shoot to this leg, and it's just another dominant performance. The score is close. You could say the score is close, but really, in reality, Montalvo has no ability to do anything with Hokit. So looking for the roll, and the period's over.
Well, that's one thing that we talked about in the morning session here on Time Warner Cable Sports and TWCcommunity.com, Coach, is that the Clovis wrestlers in these heavier weight classes, they don't wrestle like heavyweights or 220s or 182s. They wrestle like lighter wrestlers. They wrestle, period. Just stop there.
Yeah, period. They wrestle. You know, it isn't holding on. It isn't. They've got a little showboat going on right now. 6-3 Hokit. I really don't know what he's doing, so I'm not happy about it. This is not necessary.
Well, I think there is this Buchanan versus Clovis rivalry and overtone tonight.
I think that's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out.
And this is the only time these two schools will face off. For Clovis, in all likelihood, they will lose their 5-time state crown tonight, and Hokit is looking to put on a little bit of a show. 8-3 now in favor of Hokit and Clovis, although he's getting a talking to from the referee.
It's not sportsmanship the way we would like to see it. But let's just talk about that Buchanan situation. They have 10 medalists out of the kids they brought here today, and 6 guys in the final, Danny, including Montalvo.
It's incredibly impressive from Buchanan, really. And it's not that they've come out of nowhere, but I think the predominance of wrestling fans in the state are surprised to see them with this commanding 255 to 208.5 lead in the team tally.
And Clovis has 8 medalists and 4 guys in the finals. But again, as you pointed out, this is the only head-to-head that they'll have. So now let's talk about the families. The coaches for Clovis, as everybody knows, are the Terrapellis. And the coach for Buchanan happens to be a guy named Troy Terrapelli. So, how do we, the referee is once again talking to these guys. It's 45 seconds.
45 seconds from completion. Hokit isn't even giving him a shot, really.
He's challenging him to come after him, and Montalvo isn't.
Montalvo has to make a move at some point. 8-3 with 30 seconds left, and they're run out of bounds.
And I think Josh has been bringing it to him the whole time, to be honest. So we have a lot more compelling matches coming up, I promise you, folks.
And another stoppage in play. A 5-minute blood time for Josh Hokit. It would be difficult to imagine at this stage Hokit not walking away with this title. So here we go. Updated Buchanan 260.5, Clovis 14.5. Poway in the mix as always. We talk about the program at Gilroy frequently. Look at Calvary Chapel and San Marino, too, 5 and 6. I think that'll be interesting to follow along as to who will be the highest finisher from the southern section.
I agree with you. The Buchanan and Clovis obviously are, the top 2 teams here. But it's every one of those top 5 schools brought some real firepower to the state championships this year. Just not as many people as Buchanan. So
15 seconds. And Hokit, a beaten finalist last year, is set to claim the state championship.
Is he going to take him down? Yes, he is. He is. You got him.
And what a way to finish it off. That takedown makes it 10-3. Josh Hokit, the culmination of 3 state trips.
Finalists, 3 finals.
He is your 2016 CIF state title winner. Redemption for losing a year ago. Let's have a look at Hokit here and Montalvo.
In on the single, this is the first takedown. Very nice shot, very clean. In on the leg again. This is another takedown. He's going to run the pipe, bring him back in. He's going to drag Montalvo in and score his takedown there. So, I mean, just a dominant performance. Now he's lost 5 times.
Now he's 36-5 against Hokit. That last highlight, I think, was really where the result was confirmed in a lot of ways, where he kept Montalvo in the ring, pulled back 2 points, and really just asserted his dominance from there. You ready to move on?